Mennguyen is an extremely successful professional poker player. He has millions of dollars in tournament winnings and has been in the money hundreds of times.
All you can eat, baby.
Well, men betting it all. He's not fooling around with these guys.
And while he may be an accomplished pro, he also known as one of the most controversial players in the poker world due to his unusual and even unethical behavior on and off the table.
That's the way man moves in.
Angle shooter, dealer abuser, and even cheater have been used to describe men over the years. So, who exactly is Mennguyen, and why are so many people fed up with his antics? Stick around while we hear some stories from other poker pros about the shady things Men has done over the years. Mennguyen definitely did not have an easy childhood. Perhaps that has influenced how he handles certain situations and how he interacts with people. Nguyen was born in Phan Thiet, Vietnam in 1954. At the time, North Vietnam was under communist control, and even in the South, anti-communist sentiments faced extreme consequences. At age 13, Nguyen left school to help support his family by driving buses while his father fought in the Vietnam War on the side of the Americans against the communists. After the fall of South Vietnam and the Communist Party took control, Nguyen illegally fled Vietnam in 1978 aboard a boat bound for Malaysia, along with 87 other people. He then came to the United States and was granted political asylum. I grew up very poor family. My family was a soldier, fought against communists, the North Vietnamese, Nguyen said about his childhood. My brother told me to leave, don't stay here, they're going to punish our family since my father fought against them. When they come in, they'll take you, punish you very bad. After coming to the US, Nguyen worked as a machinist while learning English and getting accustomed to life in America. Then in 1984, he traveled to Las Vegas, Nevada, and played his first game of 7-stud poker. Although he clearly fell in love with the game, in his early years he lost large amounts of money, earning himself the nickname Money Machine due to his trips to the ATM to get more cash. Eventually, he would turn his losing streak around and become a formidable player. In 1987, a year after finally getting his U.S. citizenship, he would win his first major tournament. The Money Machine was no more, and he would begin to the path that would eventually earn him the nickname The Master. Has earned that nickname not only due to his skill at the table, but also for his role as a teacher and mentor to other aspiring poker players. In fact, it was one of his own students who gave him the nickname The Master. At the height of his popularity, he took on many students, many of whom were Vietnamese expats like himself. When I won so many tournaments, a lot of people wanted me to teach them. Nguyen once told Poker News, "My first student was my cousin, David the Dragon Pham. Then Hung Lei. I just give him tips and advice for 1 or 2 hours. A lot of people pay the money for 2 hours. Some of them buy me dinners or offer me $500. Some of them, $1,000. Rich people, they formed a sort of entourage around Nguyen. Many of his students found success at the poker table, including his cousins David Pham and Minh Nguyen, and even his wife, Van Nguyen. But it is also his habit of teaching students that led to some pretty wild accusations around Nguyen and his students, especially when they were playing in tournaments alongside Nguyen. Nguyen apparently had some pretty strict rules that his students needed to follow, some of which were pretty controversial and downright unethical. Many past situations where men has broken the code of poker ethics, I got from respectable people in the poker world who will remain nameless. Poker great Daniel Negreanu once said about Nguyen, "They told me these things in confidence, and I will never betray that trust." That also includes people in his camp who have admitted to me what they were forced to do if they wanted to play for men. Regardless of the controversies, one thing that is clear is that Nguyen is an extremely talented poker player. Even though Nguyen has not won a WSOP championship, he has proven himself over and over again to be one of the best players in the world. His wins go back decades, and he has won millions and millions of dollars playing poker tournaments. He is currently ranked 118th on the all-time money list, with over $11 million in total live earnings. In 2010, he walked away in second place in the WSOP $25,000 no-limit hold'em, six-handed tournament with $412,746. But that is only one of the six-figure awards he has bagged. Throughout his career, he was walked away with 21 six-figure paydays, winning a total of $4,277,616. From those alone, he has come in first place in 96 professional tournaments and has been in the money over 475 times. And if that was not enough, he was named Card Player Magazine's Player of the Year, not once, but 4 separate times. It is no wonder he is known as the Master. While Nguyen is unarguably a very talented poker player, he is also a very controversial player as well. From aggressive behavior, intimidation tactics, talk and banter at the table, ethical concerns and claims of cheating, there seem to be no limits to what Nguyen will do at the table to get an advantage. He also has a bad reputation of being rude and even aggressive towards dealers. In a blog post, fellow poker pro Justin Bonomo called out Nguyen for his antics at the table. "I've never really liked men. He's extremely abusive to dealers, and that kind of behavior is just absurd for a professional poker player to display," he said. Another bad practice Nguyen had was also folding his cards one by one. No big deal, right? Well, it is a big deal when you fold every single one of your cards by throwing them directly into the dealer's knuckles. After 3 to 4 hands of this, the dealer told Nguyen to stop, and Nguyen just glared at him silently. When asked if he has ever mistreated dealers, Nguyen said he did when he was young. "Sometimes they make mistakes. What I do, sometimes I tell them not to bring the cards in. They say I'm mean. Most people say I'm mean to the dealers," he told Chad Holloway in an interview. "When I play tournaments, I'm never mean to dealers. You don't want the penalty. They do what they want. Sometimes I don't like it, but don't say nothing. At the World Series, they chewing gum and deal. That looks bad. I don't like it." He is also a notorious angle shooter. In one tournament, according to World Poker Tour updates, tournament staff pulled him aside for attempting to make multiple illegal raises in the same hand, and he was given a 1-round penalty. But of course, he claimed innocence. "What did I do wrong?" he asked. "I never do nothing wrong." And that wasn't going to be the only time of the tournament he was called out, but claimed he did nothing wrong. Later on that day, he is accused of abusing the time extension rule several times. He would wait until after the 30-second time clock to fold his hand multiple times, causing other players to complain that he needed to surrender a time extension chip. But one hand against Steve Sung was particularly shady. Sung raised $70,000 on the pre-flop with Ajax, and Nguyen called from the big blind with 9 and 7. The flop was Jacks, 8 rainbow, giving Sung the set and Nguyen a gut shot straight draw. Sung bet $100,000 and Nguyen check raised to $225,000, and Sung called. The 6 on the turn gave Nguyen an open-ended straight draw, and he bet $225,000. Sung went all in and Nguyen called, dropping 2 $100,000 chips in the pot. Sung then showed his hand, and Nguyen immediately folded his hand and grabbed the 2 chips he called with and claimed that he never called the raise and dropped the chips by accident. "You called," Sung said. "That's why I turned over my hand." "I no do nothing," Nguyen claimed. "Mensky, you really trying this on me right now?" Sung fired back. "We've known each other a long time. Don't pull this on me." "I no do nothing. I bet you $1,000, Nguyen again said. "I'll bet the prize pool on it," Sung answered. Tournament staff stepped in and claimed Nguyen's call was valid and ordered the dealer to turn over the river card, which was a 6, and gave Sung the full house to win the hand. Nguyen has also been known to kick back a few drinks while playing. That's a nice way of saying he gets downright drunk at tournaments. During this very same session, he was cut off from the bar due to his belligerent behavior and for slowing play by falling asleep at the table. But perhaps one of the largest controversies surrounding Nguyen revolves around claims of cheating and collusion with some of his entourage. First, it is widely known that if you were a student of Nguyen's, or if Nguyen was backing you in a tournament, you had to follow certain rules if you are sitting at the same table as him. First, if he raised, you are never allowed to call him. Second, don't ever raise his blind. Third, in no limit, if he re-raises, you fold. Fourth, in no limit, you are not allowed to move in on him. Daniel Negreanu also detailed one situation when there was blatant collusion with one of his entourage. He goes on to say, "In '98, after I won a bracelet and had some money, both men and I put Nut Tran into a limit hold'em event, each putting up half the money. Down to 3 tables, Men had a monster stack while Nut only had 4 small bets left. Men raised in first position and everyone folded to Nut, who then re-raised it to 3 bets. When the bet came back to Men, he had to call 1 small bet as well as 1 more small bet to get Nut all in. He folded. That alone is a cardinal sin by any competent player. That should have been punished, but wasn't. That's not all. Men then takes me aside to the corner and says I had to throw the hand away to keep Nut alive. We have big percent, so I have to give him chip. So, in other words, Men dumped chips to one of his horses to keep him alive in the tournament, which is absolute collusion. It was certainly in Men's best interest financially to have Nut still alive in the tournament. Those examples are just the tip of the iceberg of the antics mennguyen has displayed over the decades. He has been playing poker and why he will go down as one of the most controversial poker players to ever play the game. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and make sure to let us know which controversial poker star we should cover next.